Ever notice how the loudest voice in the room is usually attached to the emptiest head? How your broke cousin lectures you about investing, or someone who's never kept a relationship past 3 months becomes the relationship expert at dinner parties. Here's the disturbing part. They genuinely believe they're qualified. What if I told you this isn't just arrogance? It's a psychological trap that catches everyone. The less you know about something, the more your brain convinces you that you've mastered it. It's not a character flaw. It's a mental glitch that's been scientifically proven, and it's called the Dunning-Kruger effect. Once you understand this, you'll see it everywhere. In celebrities, in billionaires, in politicians, in your family. And yes, sometimes when you look in the mirror. Here's the question that should terrify you. Right now, in this moment, what are you completely wrong about, but absolutely convinced you're right? Act 1. The discovery. Mount Stupid is real, the dangerous confidence of knowing nothing. Let's start with the science, because this is too wild to ignore. In 1999, psychologists David Dunning and Justin Kruger conducted a series of experiments that revealed something shocking about human psychology. They tested people on logic, grammar, and humor. Then, they asked participants to rate their own performance. The results were mind-bending. The people who scored in the bottom 25%, the ones who failed miserably, estimated that they performed above average. Some thought they were in the top 25%. They weren't just a little off. They were spectacularly, catastrophically wrong about their own abilities. But here's the kicker. They couldn't be wrong on purpose. It wasn't arrogance or lying. Their incompetence was so complete that they literally lacked the knowledge needed to recognize their own incompetence. Think about that. You can be so blind that you can't see your own blindness. The 3 faces of foolishness. The research identified 3 distinct types of foolish behavior. Confident ignorance, speaking with absolute certainty while knowing almost nothing's out of control. Making impulsive decisions without considering consequences. Absent-mindedness. Operating on autopilot, never questioning your assumptions. But the most dangerous? Confident ignorance. Because at least absent-minded people can be woken up. At least impulsive people sometimes feel regret. But the confidently ignorant? They're convinced they're brilliant. They're unteachable. They're standing on top of what experts call Mount Stupid, that delusional peak where minimal knowledge creates maximum confidence. Psychologist Robert Sternberg described foolishness as an extreme and persistent failure of wisdom. It's not just being wrong, it's being unable to comprehend that you could be wrong. Act 2. The downfall, when Mount Stupid meets reality. Mike Tyson, 400 million reasons to. Be humble. Let me show you what Mount Stupid looks like in real life. Mike Tyson, Iron Mike, one of the greatest boxers who ever lived. During his career, he earned over $400 million. Think about that number. That's generational wealth. That's never work again, neither do your grandchildren money. By 2003, Mike Tyson declared bankruptcy. Completely broke. $0. How is that even possible? Let me paint you a picture. 2 Bengal tigers, $70,000 each, plus $125,000 a year to keep them fed. A gold bathtub, $2.2 million. Yes, gold. A mansion with 38 bathrooms. Who needs 38 bathrooms? Pigeons, $322,000 worth of racing pigeons. But here's what's important. At the time, Mike didn't think he was being foolish. He thought he was invincible. He thought the money would never end. He had maximum confidence with minimum financial literacy. Years later, Mike himself admitted, "I was young and foolish. But that's hindsight. That's the view from the other side of the fall. Elizabeth Holmes, the billion-dollar delusion. But it's not just athletes. Let's talk about someone more recent. Elizabeth Holmes and Theranos. At 19 years old, Elizabeth dropped out of Stanford and founded a company claiming to revolutionize blood testing, diagnosing hundreds of diseases with a single drop of blood. By 30, she was the world's youngest self-made female billionaire, worth $4.5 billion on paper. There was just one problem. The technology didn't work at all. But Elizabeth spoke with such confidence, such conviction, such charisma, that she convinced some of the smartest, most powerful people in the world to invest hundreds of millions of dollars. Former Secretary of State George Shultz, media mogul Rupert Murdoch, Walmart, Walgreens. How? Because she believed her own story. She was so confident, so certain, so deep in the Dunning-Kruger trap that she couldn't see the obvious. She was selling fantasy as fact. In 2022, she was convicted of fraud and sentenced to 11 years in prison. Mount Stupid doesn't just cost you money, sometimes it costs you your freedom. Act 3. The map. Understanding the terrain. What's actually happening in your brain? So what's going on here? Why does the brain do this to us? When you first learn something, anything, you get a dopamine hit. You feel smart. You feel capable. And your ego grabs onto that feeling like a life raft. This is Mount Stupid. High confidence, low competence. This is where most people quit. It's uncomfortable. It's humbling. It's easier to retreat back to Mount Stupid where everything felt simple and you felt smart. But if you keep going, if you push through the valley, you eventually reach the plateau of sustainability. This is where true experts live. They have deep knowledge and deep humility. They say things like, "It depends." That's a great question. I don't know. The data suggests, but I could be wrong. That's wisdom. That's mastery. That's the opposite of foolishness. Act 4. The antidote. Climbing down from Mount Stupid. The cure is uncomfortable, and that's the point. So how do you escape this trap? How do you avoid becoming the fool in the room? Step 1. Recognize you're already on Mount Stupid. About something right now, today. There's an area of your life where you're confidently wrong. Maybe it's parenting. Maybe it's politics. Maybe it's how the economy works, or what makes a good relationship, or how to stay healthy. The first step isn't learning more. It's admitting you might not know as much as you think you do. Step 2. Actively seek discomfort. Wisdom lives in the valley of despair, and the only way to get there is to willingly feel stupid. Read things that challenge you. Talk to people who disagree with you. Ask questions that reveal your ignorance. True growth feels like humiliation. Get comfortable with that feeling. Step 3. Surround yourself with truth-tellers, not yes-men. Mike Tyson had an entourage telling him every purchase was brilliant. Elizabeth Holmes surrounded herself with people who believed the hype. The fool seeks validation. The wise seek truth. Find people who will call you out, who will challenge you, who love you enough to tell you when you're wrong. Step 4. Practice the 3 most powerful words in any language. Ready? Here they are. I don't know. These words are not a weakness. They're a superpower. They're the escape hatch from Mount Stupid. They're the beginning of real learning. The closing. Your public act of humility. Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. Every single person watching this video is currently wrong about something they're absolutely convinced they're right about. That includes me. That includes you. That includes the smartest person you know. So here's your challenge. And I want you to do this publicly, right now. In the comments, finish this sentence. I thought I understood, but I'm realizing I might be on Mount Stupid about it. One topic, one admission, one act of humility. Maybe it's fitness, maybe it's investing, maybe it's how to raise kids, or how the government works, or what makes a relationship healthy. Doesn't matter, just name it. If this video made you even slightly uncomfortable, good. That means you're growing. That means you're climbing down from Mount Stupid and heading toward real wisdom. Hit that like button if you're brave enough to admit you don't know everything. Subscribe and turn on notifications because every week we're dismantling the comfortable lies we tell ourselves. Share this with someone who needs a wake-up call. Tag them. Send it. Tell them. This one's for both of us. Remember, the smartest thing you can ever say is, "I don't know."